Welcome back, everybody. Look at the mountains behind Curtis. Is it still snowing, buddy, up there or not?
Dude, we had such a terrible ski season. I didn't even ski one time this year because I have nice skis and I didn't want to go rock skiing.
That's terrible, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't there.
That's right. That's why you didn't come this year.
That's the main reason.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know. Stop it already.
But hey, it's warm enough. It's crazy how warm it is because fly fishing is, you can fly fish all year round, but now it's getting pleasant. So now you can come out. We can do a little bit of fly fishing. We'll do it bougie style. I'll get a guide so you don't even have to. You just go out there and get the fish.
Just because I'm in Malibu. All right.
You don't even have to touch it, to touch the fish if you don't want. They'll pull those trout out and you just get a picture and post it.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. I got to fake it till I make it, buddy. All right, let's talk about beyond cold calling. Dude, it's a tough market right now. And yeah, I want to know your advice on where we should be shifting to, what we should be doing more of, because I think you and I always start in a similar place when we're talking RedX and the capabilities of the product because it's grown so much.
Yep.
And I think you've got 4.1 million transactions year over year, or homes sold, right? Year over year.
Yep.
And the challenge is, I don't know that it's going to get any better. And you've got a completely split market where you've got Texas and Florida suffering, and then you've got the Northeast doing quite well. And I would add probably a third market, which is just average and even, which is most of California. But where do we start with this?
I think people want answers. They want to know, here's the challenge, and hopefully people don't drop off as soon as I say this, but I sure wish I had a silver bullet, right? I wish that I had the answer, or that anybody does, that was different than what the truth is. And the truth is there's things that still work, and people don't want to do them because life is easier. And we're seeing all these AI tools and we're seeing all this stuff come out, and it gives us this false sense of progress and that we're doing things. And at the end of the day, if you as a real estate professional don't talk to strangers and put them in your CRM and then create a relationship with them, then you are going to fail at this business. You have to talk to a bunch of strangers to get to, and so that you can get to know them. And then you have to have a relationship with them so that when they're ready to transact, that they're thinking of you, right? And in today's market, when we're doing less transactions than we did 40 years ago, but we have 70 million more homeowners, it means the people that are moving right now are kind of two categories. There's the people where money doesn't matter and interest rates don't matter, right? And then there's everyone else that has to move. Like if they're doing something in real estate right now, it's because they have to, right? There was a death, there's a divorce, there's distressed properties. They got married, their family got bigger, their family got smaller. There's these life events that are making it so that people have to transact. So, everybody wants their sphere of influence to be their number one source of business, and it should be. But right now, if your sphere of influence is turning over at like 3 to 4%, and there's less transactions to go around, you have more competition with your sphere of influence than you've ever had.
Dude, you just gave me an idea, and you know how it is when we get.
I know. I hope people don't read the promised bullet points in the marketing of what we're going to go over, because if you and I are on here, but I promise it's always good. I promise it's always good.
Well, we're about to go there. Okay, are you ready? Because I need your help on this one, because I'm going to outline it based on where I think your product can help all of us.
Okay.
We were talking about it a tiny little bit when we were both on the wrong link a few minutes ago.
Right.
Okay. Um, I'm thinking about it like this, and this is a flow chart that I'm going to create. RedX reverse connections, right? Let me, um, because you have such a great product for data. So
Yep.
if I'm looking at this and saying, because if I'm in a buyer's market, and then let's go seller's market.
Okay.
Now it's going to look similar, but remember for buyer's market, I'm thinking, let's just so people can see it visually, right? Florida, and then seller's market, typically, we're just going to put Northeast, right?
Yeah.
So people know right now. So if I'm in a buyer's market, Curtis, and I have all this data that I can extract or use from RedX. What would that data look like? Who am I targeting if I'm in a buyer's market?
Okay. If I'm in a buyer's market and I have buyers that I'm working with, my goal is still to have listing inventory. Period.
Okay.
Like
So the
that.
goal, let's put goal
Yep.
listings. What about buyers though? Like if I'm
Yeah,
in a
yeah, work with buyers, but buyers should generate listings. And there's a few things to do. Here's the problem with in a buyer's, like, if there's enough inventory and there's plenty of inventory and everything's out there, then great. But you should be using those buyers to generate listing opportunities. And part of that is knowing exactly what the buyer wants,
okay.
and then going and finding a lookalike audience of properties.
Okay.
I mean, this is not unlike what we do on Facebook, right? We as we as a vendor to real estate agents want real estate agents that are most likely to do business with us. Real estate agents want homeowners that are most likely to do business with them. And the homeowners, they're buying the house, they want, to find houses that fit their criteria, right? So this is just marketing. So if you want to then have more inventory and more opportunity, then go reverse engineer what the buyer really wants, and of course go find it in the MLS, narrow that down to, hopefully not a million properties they're going to go see, narrow it down to whatever it is, 5, and do that. But also look in the whole neighborhood and look at every other house that matches that criteria, and then get in front of those homeowners, whether that's a postcard, whether it's a social media video, whether it's a door knock, whether it's a phone call. Get in front of those other homeowners and say, I have a buyer that's looking for this 3-bedroom, 2-bath Rambler property with this many, this type of yard. Your house is perfect. Have you thought about, what is your situation? And you're adding people to your CRM. You're creating opportunities, and you would be shocked at how many people over the years have they want to sell. They want to make a change.
Well, question on this one, and maybe hold on. Let's ask the audience. What's up, Kent? If I'm looking at the buyer's market, Texas and Florida, and I go the route where it says buyers, what's their challenge? Can somebody help me out? What is the challenge for a buyer in a buyer's market? What is their challenge there? And then I'll go to Curtis. But let's see what people say. Because if I'm in Florida, let's go to Tampa, because I know Tampa well. If I'm in Tampa and I know that there's an oversupply of listings and I'm a buyer there, what am I challenged with? Am I challenged with maybe getting qualified? Am I challenged with finding the right home for the right price? I don't think I am, right? It's almost the opposite. It's like there's a lot to choose from. I've got time. Maybe the challenge is I'm waiting for the interest rates to drop, and I have to find a solution for that mortgage rate for me because I want to buy now and take advantage of it. Maybe I want to go to foreclosures. What do you think, Curtis?
Well, no, let's just talk about what you said. If a buyer, the challenge is interest rates and they can't get what they want, then you go find that inventory, and you can find homes that have assumable loans, right? You can find seller finance opportunities. You can, and those people are out there. So what do you do? How does that relate to data? Well, let's search first by what they want, then look at who has the most amount of equity. Let's see who's been in the home amount of time that their interest rate is probably low. And let's give them a call and see if there's any opportunity for them to think about selling and create a lower payment for the same house for our buyer.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the main thing, if I go back to our chart here, what's their challenge? I would say buyers worry they'll purchase today and the home will be worth less tomorrow. That's my worry, right?
Well, that for sure in your market.
Yeah. So,
right.
And it's like, well, at what point does the market stop dropping? Like in Tampa, in parts of Texas, in parts of Florida, in Vegas, right? So now how do we answer that in the form of marketing? Because if I go back to RedX, I've got the ability to run ads through the back end for both of these, right? Sellers and buyers. And if I'm going to the listing side, wait, do you remember, Curtis? There's this thing going around on social that is showing like the most searched question on Google right now. And that's, how do I sell my home that can't sell, or something along those lines?
Yeah.
You seen that?
Yeah.
So let's go with that one being the challenge here, right?
Yeah.
The challenge is I can't sell my home. How do you solve that, right? I can't sell my home. The question then for you agents, for me, how do we solve this? So the question you have to ask yourself when you're looking at this, because this is how you're creating the ad through RedX.
Yep.
The question is, well, how do I solve for these, for those two specifically, for the clients that I'm trying to attract? And for me, if I'm going to both of these, I create a plan. What's up, Jeff from Michigan? It's 66 and cloudy. Nice. Curtis, how do I create a plan for this? Like, if I can't sell my home, do I then go to me and say, hey, let's use ChatGPT, let's use Claude, let's go to Gemini, and then outline a really nice 5-page PDF on how I differentiate and how I can sell homes that aren't selling in this market. And then I create an ad or ads based on that, and I target, and then I have them go through a funnel and then come to me.
I mean, you can do all of that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think if people are stuck, they should be going to AI. I mean, there was an article also going around a few days ago, I think started on Yahoo Real Estate or something, where somebody used ChatGPT to sell their home.
Yep.
Got $100,000 more than any real estate agent had quoted him on price.
Yep.
And his number one concern is that real estate agents never seemed confident in their price. And when he was interviewing him, so he just went and it's a little interesting. We could psychoanalyze the guy, but ultimately he thought, hey, ChatGPT seems way more confident. So I'm just going to go with what they said, and then he sold it in 5 days, right? So,
I like that.
So when you say, should they go to AI and do this? I go, absolutely. I mean, you should be doing AI to do massive amounts of data research and understanding and to know what's going on in your market and the sentiment of the buyers. And this isn't to do your job. This speeds up what you should already be doing. Here's an example. Sorry, I know this is a little bit of a tangent from the outline here, but here's a tangent. Right now you have your sphere of influence and you're having conversations, so you kind of have an idea of what the sentiment of the buyers or the sellers are in your marketplace, but not the way you could go to Grok and say, hey, I want you to analyze everybody in my marketplace that's talking about real estate on Twitter, on X, and find out what the sentiment of that is. And then you can go to Perplexity and say, hey, I want you to really dig into Reddit and understand what the community is talking about real estate and the sentiment there, and what are people's fears in my marketplace specifically. And you can use AI, and all that's doing, it's not doing your job, it's doing research so that you can do your job better. And then you take that information, right? And then you could be asking these same questions that you're asking, trying to outline this in AI and say, well, what are the challenges that people are talking about right now? What are those things? And see, when, with where we're going, if you want to attract those buyers and sellers, you meet them at the emotional state that they're in with the problem that they're experiencing. So I'm sure there's a better way to say that. I'll have ChatGPT clean that line up, but let me say it again. It's you've got to meet them in the emotion that they're experiencing because of the problem that they're having. So the exact questions that you're asking are, well, what are the problems? And if we go with, I can't sell my home, that's a problem. And what emotions does that create? And then all of your marketing, regardless of channel, all of your marketing should be centered around making a connection around that emotion.
That's it.
So if you're making phone calls, right, to an expired listing, and they answer the phone and they seem really upset and mad, right? You meet them there. Yeah, I can see why you're upset. Not only are you getting a bunch of phone calls, but it's kind of embarrassing to list your home for 6 months and then not have it sell. Right? You meet them there. If you take that and you put it on ads to target expired listings on social media, your hook is maybe a question of, maybe an empathetic statement of it can be really frustrating and embarrassing when your home doesn't sell.
Yeah, I remember
or having your home come off the market after so many months of trying. Right. And you meet them at that emotion, and then they're going to resonate with you in that moment. But that's really relevant to even the outline, because the way the AI is opening up opportunities, I swear, Tristan, we end up on AI no matter what the topic, don't we?
We do, because then it could just enhance what we're doing. So for instance, I could take this, and let's just take right here, even though I didn't expand on the seller's market one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that, and let me save it first. Flow chart.
While you're pulling that up, I was just going to say, before we have a listing presentation and we have this put together, and we have one generic listing presentation for everyone we talk to. We have one set of materials for everything we do. But the way that AI can help us is we can have our listing presentation, we can have our ads, we can have our call scripts, we can have whatever it is. And we go, okay, well, I want to now, here's the current state of the marketplace. Here's the current problems that people are having. Here's the current emotions that they are having. Now let's cater all of this material to that person. And that's for a category. But then I have a listing presentation with Tristan, and I had a brief call with you. And so I put in there, I'm like, dude, he's super into like superheroes and Marvel and Star Wars stuff. And, because I see it in your background. And now all of a sudden I can further customize and create material that's specific to the ad that I'm going to give to you, to the postcard I'm going to send to you, to the letter I'm going to write for you, and the listing presentation, or even the, contract negotiation.
That's true, man. I like that. I like that a lot. So let's go further on this then, because let me put that prompt in there for everybody. Let's go further on your idea, which is I'm getting a little bit more specific on the area based on the flow chart that I have. And let me add this flow chart to everybody so everybody can have this one too. As it's developing this, viewer, copy, where's the screen? Perfect. There's the link to that flow chart if you guys want it. But I'm looking at this. Let me zoom in. I'm looking at this. First of all, it's always going to compliment me unless I tell it not to. So it makes me feel really nice and special, Curtis.
Great flow chart, Tristan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's like I'm talking to you, Curtis. You're always sweet and kind. Let me build out a full content strategy map for LA. So just like Curtis said, off of our idea that we had, the good thing is you can build things, start with your ideas and then enhance them. And then once AI enhances them, bring them back to you and then re-enhance them based on what you're reading, because that really becomes the key to this. You can't just rely on whatever it gives you. But now I'm looking at this and saying, okay, Curtis, I've got this opportunity to now go back to RedX and start building these things, whatever it's going to populate. What does this start looking like in RedX? Because look at this. Let me visualize this for you first, then break it down. What sellers are asking in Los Angeles? These are my ads that I'm going to run on RedX. Why isn't my home selling in this market? LA sellers are sitting on 45 days plus. Now, 45 days plus traditionally isn't high, but if I'm in LA and my home used to sell in 15 days, 45 days is a lot.
That feels high.
In transition, right? So video, five reasons LA's homes sit on the market, pre-listing checklist for LA sellers, carousel sold versus sitting, what's the difference? Meta ad targeting expired and withdrawn. And that's what I love on yours. Like I could totally do this one easily.
I love that. That wasn't part of your prompt.
Right? And then
look how smart AI is.
Should I sell now or wait until rates drop? Timing anxiety is number one. It is.
Okay. Can we take this a little bit more? Take the expired, because Claude, you can just click on that expired one up at the top, right?
No, but I can grab it.
Pull up a prompt.
I can grab it and be like, yo, this one, expand on it. Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, I want you to specifically tell it to dig deeper on what expireds, withdrawn, and canceled are experiencing in those zip codes.
What are the people or the sentiment in general?
Yeah. Yeah, but specifically ask it about what are the questions that they're likely, what is their inner voice saying? Say that. Because here's the thing is if somebody's saying, I'm super pissed off at a real estate agent, and then you scroll in your feed and it says, are you super pissed off at a real estate agent? You don't need 50 ads to get their attention. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just, we're going to make it better than that. I'm just saying whatever somebody's saying in their head, marketing is about meeting people exactly where they are, the right message, right person, right time. So it's going to go through and like their inner monologue, this is what it's doing. And then you go, great, now turn this into an ad campaign where I can target just the expireds and canceled and withdrawn in my marketplace.
Yeah, well, that's where you guys make it easy too, because once I'm done here, I could just plug it into RedX
and you just plug it, you just copy and paste that in, right? I mean, that is what we're doing. And what we're trying to do is show people that you don't have to spend a boatload of money on advertisements and marketing, as long as the reason why marketing costs a lot is because you're marketing to everybody, right? So if I market to my entire market, already only in the country only 3.5% of those are turning over. So already I'm spending a lot of money on people who aren't going to do any transactions. So I go, okay, well, I'm just going to specifically try to target sellers and buyers and hope that Facebook can help me to do that. Well, that's still a really big category. How many people does the internet think are buyers because they go search properties on Zillow?
That's true.
Right. So then your marketing costs a lot because you're trying to find the buyers within that big category. But if I just go to canceled and expireds, let me give you the numbers as of right now.
As you're giving me numbers, I'll just, I'm going to go back to this, to sharing so I can show you what it's populating.
Okay. Actually, they're a week old. So
shoot, tell me.
44.3% of expireds and canceleds will end up back on the MLS in an average time of 32 days.
44.3%.
We'll be back on the MLS. Do you want me to tell you what California is?
Yeah, please.
Ooh,
And then
California.
type it into the chat because I need to save that.
California for the whole state is 45.8% of canceled and expired. So I'm not including withdrawn because some markets you can't prospect to a withdrawn.
I can't prospect withdrawn.
Will relist an average time of 35 days.
Damn,
Right.
man.
So 45. So when marketing is expensive, you're marketing to the world. But if you could market to 100 expireds, knowing that 45 of them are going to end up on the MLS within 6 weeks, or an average of 6 weeks, then your marketing all of a sudden gets cheaper to get the result that you want. And that's the same on any channel. So I could send postcards to a whole market, or I could send postcards to just expires and canceled. And if my message is really tight, which is what you're using the AI to help you get really clear on the message that's going to help you convert to these people, then all that's left is people go, well, great. How do I do that? Well, you could go learn Facebook and Instagram's business manager, or you could, or you could just use a tool like RedX, which does all this.
Well, man, I would just grab my seller questions. So it gives you buyer and seller. I grab the seller one, you did the meta one. Then I'd go down and look at this. I really connected with this one because this is what I'm hearing with friends. Obviously, they're not going to tell me with a client that I'm trying to win over. But did I miss the window, Tristan? Should I have sold 6 months ago? Like, that is a powerful one. If I click on that, I can take a look at all the details and then the ad copy, and then I could just start creating this.
What's so great about look at the timing, anxiety, regret. It's telling you some of these emotions. I mean, this is stuff that 15 years ago, only the top marketers in the world kind of understood and figured out. And now we've leveled the playing field. Everybody can make great ad copy. So the question is, do you have the right people with the right message so that they're going to engage with you? And you should do this right now. You should pull this in.
Do me a favor. I'm gonna stop sharing. Could you throw into the chat, Curtis? You put California in there.
Yep.
Put the national one. I think you said it was like 44%.
44.3%.
Yeah, put that one in there because I'm going to quote you on it and put it up in lab coats because I think that's an important number. Jerry, do you have postcards that we can get printed? Yes, Jerry, they have postcards that you can just automatically send. So the idea would be this, and look, we're a little over, but the idea would be this. Like, if I'm going to go back to my flow chart because I'm going to add postcards. So part of the reverse connections is, well, if I'm targeting sellers, well, guess what I'm also going to do? Postcards. Because they're built into the system, and the postcards all use RedX data. So I can decide if it's just going to be expired, if it's just going to be canceled, both, if I notice of default, any of that. And if you're noticing notice of default numbers in some areas, not all, they're growing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a whole nother strategy that we can go into. But again, that would mean that Curtis and I need to really put on our creative thinking hat and just go a different route on this one. But we don't have another 30 minutes.
No.
I like it. All right, you put it on there? Perfect. Let me grab it.
Yep.
I like this, man. Let me put this one. And by the way, let me remove that one more time so you guys can scan that. If you have questions, Jerry, scan that QR code. You get a discount with everything that RedX has to offer. And let me grab this right now. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to quote you, Curtis, because that is a very powerful number, just so we can do a much better job connecting with people that are in that position that we should be attracting. We don't necessarily need to go and spam call. It's more like, hey, let me put some good content on there, like we just showed you on the screen, and have people raise their hand and reach out to us. I like the whole new strategy, buddy.
Love it. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's a marketing strategy, and we can help you get in front. Prospecting has changed. It doesn't have to be a grind on the phone. It's about strategically spending your time with the people who are most likely to do business with you in ways that they're most likely to engage. And that's the platform that RedX is.
I love that. Thanks, man. I love how you guys have pivoted over the last few years to really be where we're at. You're not like the MLS. Good job. Appreciate you.
Thanks everybody.